What's up everybody? I hope you had a good weekend. I just got back from Gen Con and it was a good time, and now that I'm back, I'm ready to finally do this renovation video that I've been putting off for like 2 months, which is kind of surprising because honestly this is probably the transformation that I'm most excited about. So when I first came to this house, the main bathroom was actually the thing I wanted to renovate the most, the thing that really needed the most update because of, you know, the super aged wallpaper. So going into this, I knew it would be basically a total gut other than the ceiling drywall and the tub. So let's go ahead and see how $1,500 transformed my bathroom. So like I said, this renovation project was going to be a total gut other than the ceiling and the tub. Even the subfloor needed to be replaced a little bit because there was a bunch of water damage on it and it was starting to warp and everything underneath the linoleum. So to start, I just gutted everything, right? I took everything out and I took out all the drywall other than the ceiling, and also took off the linoleum on the floor, which revealed those warped boards. But luckily it wasn't the entire flooring, it was just a couple little panels, which made it a lot easier for me to fix. Originally I was gonna keep the surround, I guess, the tile surround around the tub, but after taking everything out, I could see kind of behind it, and it looks like they didn't use moisture resist drywall, and behind all that tile was really like warped and just like nasty. So I ended up having to rip out all the tile around the tub as well, and that was not fun at all. That was probably the worst part of this whole project, if I'm being quite honest. During this time, I also widened the door frame. It was a 24-inch door that was in there, and it was kind of hard to walk through. It wasn't like very comfortable for everyone to fit through. So we widened that thing up to 30 inches, which means that I had to move the light switch down a few inches on the wall as well. So now after tearing everything apart, we got to do the part of rebuilding basically. So first I spent about $8 on just 2x4 studs to brace the corner so that when I put drywall, I'd have something to screw into, because the way they built this house, it's like they put a wall in and then they drywalled it and then they put another frame on it. And so like basically drywalling after the fact, like I'm doing now, I would have nothing to screw into. So we had to build up a little back support for it. After that, I replaced all the electrical boxes because they were very old and everything. I even put an electrical box on the ceiling because I was going to put a light in there, because the only light source I had before was just above the medicine cabinet. So I wanted to have a ceiling light. So we just ran the wires from where they were up across the ceiling, and it worked out fine. So since I ripped everything off the walls, I went ahead and drywalled everything with moisture resist drywall, except for the ceiling because I left that. But in all, that cost me about $112 to do so because moisture resist is a little bit more expensive, but it's kind of a necessity. After that, I did the normal, you know, mud, sand, paint, prime, all that fun good stuff that just sucks, and that cost me about $59. I went with sort of a matte blue color. I know blue's kind of like overused a lot in bathrooms because the water theme, I don't know, but it just like, it worked good. It matches the kind of like more modern and like gray color scheme I already have in most of the rest of my house, and that I want to continue throughout. So that's just what we went with. Honestly, I'm not an interior designer. So next, in order to put the new flooring down, I had to fix that flooring that I said it was like warped before. So we just cut out the little portion that was all warped and everything, and we put down a new subfloor with particle board. And that was just honestly just kind of like leftovers from when I did the living room and hallway, because I had to buy a bunch of it to fix that floor. But when I did this, there was just the teeniest height difference and a little bit of a gap between the new floor and the old floor. So I had to buy some like cement floor patch to try and like even it out a little bit, just because, you know, with the vinyl planking, I didn't want things to be uneven and all that. So I went ahead and just skimmed across all of that, and that cost me about $5. So after that, we put in the new door frame, put a new door in, new door handle, like all that good stuff, and that cost about $142. I will say, as a side note, we did put this door in like before we even started this project, like a long time ago when I was working on like the hallway and stuff. And so it actually made it a little bit harder because next we put in the flooring, and it made it a little bit harder just because we had to get the vinyl planking underneath the new door frame, which means I had to buy like a saw, and I just like sawed the bottom of the door off so that it was the right height. And then also it was kind of hard sometimes to connect the pieces together and then have them still slide underneath the door frame, because I don't know, just the way things laid, it was a little difficult. Like if you can lay down flooring before you trim or put in doors, do that. It's so much easier than doing it after the fact. But anyway, basically we put in new vinyl planking. We went from the hallway, no transition strip. We just float it from one to the other, which makes it look very clean. And all this was about a box and a half of vinyl planking, so this was about $90. Next, we head over to the tub because I ended up having to rip out all that tile. I had to figure out something to do for the surround. And because I have an old cast iron tub, the new kind of molded frames just didn't work. They're not the right size. They don't fit my tub. So basically I had to buy just the flat panels, which was actually the cheapest option anyway, so I ain't really mad about that. But it was just pretty simple, just 3 panels and some corner pieces, and then we bought some other trim and went around the sides of it just to make it look a little bit nicer. You know, trim always kind of like just covers up some not so pretty things, I guess. And altogether that was only $113, so not bad at all. And then I upgraded my shower head a little bit, changed it out for a $20 shower head. I wanted like a rainfall shower head, but once I saw the price of those things, I was like, yeah, I'll just settle for this. And then the spout and handle and all that on the rest of the tub stuff, I just reused the old parts, honestly. I did try to do a little bit of patch up work on the tub since it is cast iron. There's a little bit of rust here and there on the floor. So I did buy a patch kit and I tried to, you know, touch it up a little bit, and that cost me $14. And it honestly didn't do the best job. Like, it worked, but you can like kind of tell a color difference even though it's white. I'm hoping that just as time goes on, maybe the new white will kind of dirty a little bit and look like the older white. I'm not sure, but it is what it is. At least it's not super apparent when you just look at it. It looks better than just seeing like little rust spots, you know what I mean? So next, now that I had everything kind of set up, I went and put in the final light fixture at the top. So with that new light fixture and just kind of how I talked about, I replaced all the electrical outlets, put in covers and like all the GFIs, switches and all that. All of that came to about $25. So not bad in the electrical department, and I just kept the old fan above the shower that was already there. So now we get into where the money really went to. I had to get a new cabinet, you know, new vanity top, new faucet, and all that cost me $318, which just seems like just the faucet alone was like as much as the sink top. Like, isn't that crazy? And then next was the medicine cabinet. Originally I was just going to reuse the one I had because I already had one, but I found one that I really liked and it was $126. And I don't know that it was worth that because it's super expensive, but it was just like so much nicer than the one that I had before. So I went ahead and swapped that out and I just sold the old one. So to do some finishing touches on it, we trimmed everything out, the door frame and at the bottom. So because this room is so small, I was able to reuse a lot of cutoffs that I had from when I did the living room. So in total, it only cost me $38 to trim my bathroom, and most of that went to just getting the door trim and then some cord around that I put in front of the tub. Next, we get to the toilet. When I moved in, it was a nasty toilet, like, right? Like, I mean, it was circular toilet and it had like the old grandma, like padded, you know, seat top, padded seat. It was just kind of gross, maybe slightly discolored. It wasn't great. So pretty early on, I replaced the toilet, I'll be honest. I got like the higher ones that are like the handicap toilets that are oval and everything. I ended up just taking it out when we renovated and then putting it back in. So with the new wax ring and the toilet, that was around $252. Finally, just to spruce it up, you know, we replaced some of the accessories, I guess you could say. So like the, you know, towel holder, the hand towel holder, the toilet paper holder, like all those little things, as well as some of the pipe knobs. I traded all those out for newer brushed nickel ones, and that cost me about $45. And with that, we're to our last miscellaneous category. This is always like the biggest odds and ends sort of deal. So how I said I had to buy a little saw for the bottom of the door, tub grab that I use when I put the surround up, like all the like caulk stuff that I put on it, any screws, sandpaper, plumber's caulk, painter's tape, just all that good stuff. This time I actually had a pretty big expense in this. It was $108, which I feel like is more than I normally spend. So with that, we get to the total, and this whole project cost me $1,475. Again, like always, I shop at Menards mostly, so there's 11% rebate on everything. So after that, that brings the total to $1,313, and then, you know, you gotta add the tax back in. So in total, it was $1,405 to renovate my bathroom from this to this. So me and my dad did this whole renovation. We didn't hire people out. So obviously that saved me a bunch of money. I do need to put a brighter light in my bathroom because I realized having an overhead light and it not being super bright, I think it's like a 60 watt or something LED, it just causes a lot of shadows. So I got rid of the light above the sink, but I still need to kind of figure out how I'm gonna light my bathroom a little bit better, and hopefully a brighter light will do that. So that's my bathroom transformation. Honestly, like aesthetically, I think that's probably the biggest renovation I've done so far in terms of how different it looks. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you learned a little bit of something, and I will see you guys next time.